Would you look at that? It's Joel Arsenault on the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel making some actual jet ski content. It has been a long while. If you guys are excited about this, then you want to thank the folks over on Patreon, because I was actually just going to make a shorter video and post it on my Patreon account. I'm quite busy, and well, the folks over there said, no, make a longer format video, share it with everyone. That's what the consensus was, and so that's what you guys get. You have them to thank for it. If you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, link in the description below. A couple of more things. This video has a bit of a mental health rant in the middle of it. Somewhere around the middle. It's about 5 minutes long. I won't be hurt if you skip over it, but I think it's important for at least some people to hear. The next thing is that I have a video dedicated to the Dremel tool that I'm using in this video. I'll post a link to the video here. If you're interested in purchasing one of these, you can watch that video and then purchase one through that video. The link in the description of that video. But I'll also post the link down here. I've had this tool for about 3 years now. It is the best Dremel tool that I've had ever. And I've had a lot of people who have purchased one leave me comments saying that they absolutely love theirs. So yeah, if you're interested in picking one up, link in the description. I do get a small kickback if you purchase one. And I think that's just about all I have to say. It's good to be back. This isn't going to be a super regular thing, I'm guessing, but enjoy it while it lasts. Let's get to the video. Behind me on the bench, I have Jacob's 1100 Kawasaki Triple, and I just got done filming a clip saying that I was going to big bore this as well as do some porting and some other fun stuff. Almost immediately after filming that clip, I got wondering if I actually have cylinder heads that will work with an 85mm bore. The plan is to bore these cylinders out to 85mm, making it a 1200cc. The stock bore is 80mm, which makes the engine actually a 1071, not an 1100. So the idea is to bore them out to 85mm, but Jacob sent me with a set of R&D heads, and I'm not sure if the O-ring diameter, where they seal to the top of the cylinder, is actually big enough. So what we're going to do next is get those heads and actually measure what the O-ring diameter is and see if we have enough meat there so that we can use those heads. If not, we're going to have to come up with something else. I just had a little bit of a panic while I was trying to figure out where Jacob's parts were, and then I remembered that I very carefully put all of his stuff into a bin and labeled it with his name. So I'm going to go up there now and bring that down, and we'll take a look inside. Let's see what we got here. Whoa, that's heavy. Ow. Inside of this container, I have a whole lot of goodies. We've got some fancy inlets. Got a box of goodies here. I don't even know what that is, probably bolts. But what we're actually looking for today is the R&D head. And it has some O-rings. There are O-rings. We need to measure this. We need to measure this and see if this is actually going to create a seal. So I'm going to grab my calipers and we'll check. Let's do a quick measurement. This isn't going to be terribly accurate, but let's see what the whoa. Don't be measuring in inches, Joel. Nobody but the Americans will understand that. All right, the battery is basically dead in my calipers. The outside diameter is 88. So that means 85mm. Let's see, what's the inside here? About 82. So 85 is going to bring us... All right, there's 85. So yes, okay, good news, 85 will actually work. Well, I got my parts from WSM. And it looks like I'm going to be quite disappointed because they sent me one WSM piston kit. Hopefully, okay, it's just in a different box, I think. Because that does not look like a WSM piston. That's a very good sign. The ring part numbers are the same as the Wasner. They did the same thing last time I placed an order. When I got my rod kits from them, one of my rod kits had been opened. But yes, okay, good. This is a Wasner piston inside of a WSM box. Man, I was ready to have a hissy fit. One of the reasons why Jacob decided to bore out this particular set of cylinders is because it has actually been re-sleeved. And in order to go, I believe, over 83 millimeters, you're actually supposed to re-sleeve these so that there's more cast iron material. That also means that these sleeves are now removable. I've never actually done this ever, but I'm going to try to make my porting a little bit easier, and I'm going to pop this in the oven right now, see if we can remove the sleeves, and if we can, that's going to give me a whole lot better access to the ports, and should speed up that process a whole lot. Let's see if it actually works.
The reason why is because right now I think I have the spring in there on the wrong side of that little thing, because there's nothing turning the choke on. So I think instead of, like, I thought it had to push it, but I think it has to pull it to get it like on and off.
It has been a little over an hour. I'm a little bit concerned about the sleeves coming out and something getting damaged. So I'm gonna do it on the wood here, and hopefully that's okay. Hopefully it works to start with, and hopefully if a sleeve or if a liner just comes out, hopefully it falls onto the wood and doesn't get damaged. I'm going to get a brass punch ready. Let's see. They will be coming out the top, so I should be able to grab this. Run it up this way. And then hopefully, there we go. Nice. Well, that was pretty good progress. I was hoping that they'd just fall out, but it looks like I'm going to have to put it back in the oven and warm it up again before removing the liners the rest of the way. After putting the cylinders back into the oven for about another half an hour and warming them up, I was able to tap the liners out, or the sleeves out, as you guys just saw in that previous footage. Unfortunately, I use a GoPro, so you guys don't get to see that. But they are out. Pardon the noise, I've got the heater running in the background. We're getting our first snow of the day. I'm gonna do some touch-up work on these ports, and it looks like it's gonna be way easier. Ordinarily, you have the liner in the way. It actually goes in from the other side, but basically it covers the ports, and so you need to use a long tool to get in there, and you can't really see what you're doing. It's very tricky kind of looking in there. This way, I'm going to be able to use any old tool at all, and you can come in at all sorts of different angles. You can actually see what you're doing, and there's much more room for the stuff to actually clear. So I am really looking forward to this. I wish the camera picked up better. Even with my iPhone, it doesn't really pick up how nasty some of these casting marks are. Safety glasses on, hearing protection on. Let's go. It has been an absolute minute since I've tackled anything on this engine. Some of it was due to life circumstances, and some of it is because I'm very obsessive about things. And that hurts me in two ways. It hurts me because I get obsessed with things outside of projects that I should be working on. But it also hurts me because I know that there's certain things that I need to get done or that I can't afford to avoid. And if I start taking on perhaps a project that I enjoy, I'm going to spend a bunch of time doing that thing. It's very easy to just say, oh, we'll just spend an hour on it a week or an hour on it a month or something like that, and eventually it will be done. It just doesn't work that way in my brain. It just doesn't. I don't know how to tell you. Like, I know that if I get involved in this project, I'm going to absolutely love it. This is one of the first times that I've actually looked at it in the past several months and not felt anything but anxiety. I'm actually a little bit excited about it right now. But normally when I look at this engine, when I think about this project, it just makes me feel sick to my stomach. It gives me a lot of anxiety, and I don't know how to explain it other than saying that unless you have some serious mental disorders, you probably won't understand. Everybody, I think, can understand it a little bit, and I think a lot of people confuse it with procrastination or laziness or whatever. But I just got done a project where I laid underneath my truck for almost 2 weeks straight. In fact, it was a day short of 2 weeks when I finally put the fluids in it and got it going. And when it was done, as much as I hated doing it, when it was finally done, I was kind of in a state of depression for 2 days, not being able to figure out what to do. I can't explain it. My brain, I want to work on the truck. As much as I don't want to work on the truck, now that I'm not working on the truck, I just feel lost. And I don't, quite honestly, I know this is going to be really hard for people to understand, but I don't even want to do things that are enjoyable. Working on this engine, I know that if I dive into it, it would be enjoyable. I've got my X2 over here that I absolutely love working on. I've got all these great tools. I got my CNC milling machine build that I would love to do. Got all sorts of tools to play with, all sorts of fun things to do, but yeah, I don't know. If you want to understand me, you're probably going to have to get a psychology degree and then spend a lot of years studying people, and then maybe you still won't understand. I know that I don't understand myself. This has been a 5-minute rant now, and all to say that I'm just standing in front of my bench now. I took the die grinder and started grinding on one of these liners, and I wasn't going to film it because I was like, you know what? If I film it, that means I'm committing to it, and if I commit to it, that means I'm going to go off the rails. I realize I've already gone on a pretty huge rant, and I apologize for that. I'm currently editing the video, and I thought there were a couple of more things that were pretty important to mention. First thing being is that I kind of laugh and joke about everything, no matter how serious it is. Obviously, if it's funny, I laugh and joke about it as well. But that's just how I deal with things, whether it's stress, depression, trauma, whatever. Laugh and joke, and that's how you get through things. The next thing is that for the first time in over 30 years, I'm actually doing something about my mental health. I just went on a rant complaining about what's obviously mental health issues, and I am doing something proactive. This is not a Better Health advertisement. I think that's important to say. Stick with me. I'm not going to be selling you anything here. I actually reached out to BetterHelp because I saw the advertisements on other people's videos, and I'm not going to crap on them too much because I had one experience with them your experience might be different. But I reached out to them and I found that their response was quite pushy and borderline predatorial. If somebody's reaching out for mental health help, I think that you should handle that very delicately. I'm not even going to say what they said, but I'm sure, yeah, I haven't even looked around on the internet to see what other people have to say about them, but very much not impressed, very much not recommended. Hopefully you have a friend or family member that can help you with this. Megan actually helped me find a therapist, and I am very grateful for that because I don't think I could have done it on my own, which is why I reached out to BetterHelp. Anyway, enough crapping on them. I have been going to therapy now for 9 months. The first 3 months I was going once a week, and now I've been going once every second week. It is definitely helping. It is a huge mistake to think that you can fix 30 years of scrambling your brain. And yeah, it's a big mistake to think that you're going to fix 30 years of problems in, 4 sessions or something like that. So I've got a lot of work to do. And yeah, it's definitely helped me a lot. I went through some stuff this past winter that would have probably made me completely implode if I wasn't going to therapy. So very good thing. Again, not trying to sell you guys anything. I just think that mental health is important and it's uncomfortable to talk about. I actually am considering not using any of this footage in the video, but yeah, if it helps one person, then it was worth it. Hopefully some of you are still with me. So without the liners being in, it makes it really easy to scribe the marks on the case to do like port matching basically. And so I'm gonna get that done. But before I do that, I'm going to touch up the sleeves. A lot of the time when you're porting, some of the hardest stuff to do is make these transitions make sense. So you can see this was done probably with a CNC milling machine or something, but you can see that chamfer on the bottom of the port, and then it very abruptly ends at the corner. And there's kind of like 3 steps there. It's pretty brutal. So that is normally pretty hard to get at, especially in the transfer ports, which this is, and in the boost port, it's almost impossible. Well, I just took my grinder and touched up the one around this boost port, and it was actually pretty easy. You can see this one, the camera might pick that up. It's kind of dirty, so it's harder to see, but yeah, you can kind of see there's a step there. There's the place where the CNC milling machine cut at it from the factory, and then it quite abruptly ends at the corner there. So not the greatest thing for flow. So I'm going to touch all of those up. I'll film a little bit of it, but I just thought I would share with you guys what I'm doing. I should probably put on some ear and eye protection, but the only eye protection I can find is tinted, and I won't be able to see anything, so that's not going to happen. Okay. Let's see, which one did I do? I did this one. tapered off all of these port openings in the sleeves. As far as the exhaust port, I didn't touch that because it's very much dependent on the actual side of the port where it leaves the cylinder casting. So I'm going to touch that up once it's actually in. That's fairly easy to do because it's quite a big port. The transfers and the boost port is always the trickiest thing to do. What I just did in probably 20 minutes or half an hour would have taken probably close to all day to do if I were doing it with the sleeves in the cylinder castings. And so that is a pretty huge win. What I'm going to do now is try to actually use some red marker to mark off the base area. So I'll hit it with some parts cleaner, and then I'll set the cylinders in place, or the cylinder casting in place. And then I'm going to try to use something to scribe a line so that I can actually see where the surfaces meet together. So basically try to port match this. I don't need to color out very far because the line that I'm going to make isn't going to be way out here or anything. So anyway, I'll continue on with this, then we'll pop the cylinder on and show you guys how much of this red actually shows up with the cylinder casting in place. I've now got some red marker on the case, and I'm going to lower the cylinder casting in place. As you guys can see, there are dowel pins on the lower case, so that will hold everything lined up. Let's take a look inside and see how bad this is. Oh wow, it's even worse than I remember. Okay, wow. Some of the stuff matters more than others. Some of the stuff doesn't matter at all. But the stuff that matters the most is right here along these transfers on each side. That, all that red that you can see, wow, that's so bad. All the red that you can see is interfering with the flow. The flow comes up out of the case and goes through this huge step. This stuff here doesn't matter nearly as much because this is actually, the sleeve is actually there. You can actually see the boost port is really good. There's not much there at all, not much of a step. Very little red showing. Let's check the other cylinders. Again, very little showing in the boost port. And this one has a rod in the way. Very little showing in the boost port. However, the transfers, whew, that's hideous. That is crazy. Transfers, huge step. I'm now going to use this sharpened file end to scribe those lines or to scratch those lines in place. And then I can pull the cylinder off and use the Dremel tool to remove the material that I don't want there. So a little over 3 millimeters. If we go to this ridge, it's 2.3, but it's actually the transition that I need to make is about 3.3 millimeters from there to there. And I think that's pretty consistent. A little less here, about the same there. About the same there. And again, about the same there. I hope you guys aren't too upset. I did a bunch of work off camera and it's looking really good. I've got this one left to do. I've actually had to switch over to this steel cutting tip because the short tip just won't get in there. I might actually switch over to the other cutting head, the 90-degree head, and that will kind of get me in there a little better. But I'm going to try it with this long one first. That'll give me the same kind of hold and approach angle as I've had doing the other ones. and consistency is kind of the big thing here. So anyway, it is getting quite late. It's about 11 p.m. So I'm gonna try to finish this one off, and then probably post some stuff about this on my Patreon, because it's been a while since I've updated, and it's been a real long while since I've done any jet ski stuff on there. Okay, all done for tonight. I guess I'll pop the cylinder back on to show you guys what I've achieved. Hopefully show you what I've achieved. My battery's almost dead, so I can't film a whole lot, but you can see that transition is almost perfect. There's a little bit of red on that one, so we can taper back a little bit more. This one, no red. Again, just about perfect. I am going to touch these up with a little bit of sandpaper or a sanding drum, but yeah, that is awesome. Super happy with that. As I indicated at the first of the video, this isn't going to be a terribly regular thing. As per usual, I'm busy in the summer, so I'm kind of gearing up to do, that stuff. I have been making a lot of videos over on my Lowered Expectations channel, and I'm probably going to be fading away from that considerably and trying to focus a little bit more on this. I feel terrible, quite honestly. I owe Jacob this engine. I owe him this work, and I know he's not the type of person who's going to, come and break my knees or anything, or whip me with a fuel hose. But I still feel really bad about it. I haven't forgotten about you, Jacob. And if you guys are interested in jet ski content, go check out the Jet Ski Brothers. I'm sure if you've watched this, then you probably already know who they are and seen all their videos. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm really excited about this. Let's hope that I can actually produce some interesting videos for you guys in the upcoming months. See you next time. Did I wake you up? Hi. You're having a good sleep, eh? It's so warm. You're having a good sleep. You're having a good sleep up there? Hi.